Alan, how are you, my dear friend? What's up today?
Oh, I'm good, man. So I went out last night with the wife for the first time. She claims in 3 months that we've gone and done anything besides a half a day of Christmas shopping. She's like, "This is the first time I've got you out of the house." So she was pretty happy. I mean, I've gone to the gas station a couple of times, but so anyway, we go out last night, and I got to turn off my phone because my phone literally will not stop.
Uh huh.
And she's like, "This is crazy. I just want to have a couple of hours with you. Like, turn your
And,
phone
and and
off."
that's respectable. And I'm so
And so I
I'm
did.
so sorry. I
So,
messaged your
no, you're
wife.
fine.
I messaged your
So
wife,
I,
and I'm sorry.
no, I know. So I get back home last night and I turn it on, and man, do I got an onslaught of voicemails, messages, all kinds of stuff on multiple platforms. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So I get on a space call, and we start noticing that a lot of things happened yesterday. So I want to tell people to if you have MMTLP positions that were in your account
Hmm.
that are now being held with your broker and whatever QSIP number or however they've assigned it,
Hmm.
to pay very close attention to it. We believe they were test running the system yesterday because they turned the U3 halt off and then turned it back on, and people are saying, well, it was just a glitch. Well, no, I do not believe it was a glitch, and neither do the other people that are of great minds
Alan,
that have
Alan,
been looking at
I
this.
gotta cut you off 1 second. Neil just messaged, and he's obviously an intelligent person that I want to hear from real quick. Neil, AMC only let you buy at well, you have the NDA. You can't buy derivatives, right? Is there any way that anybody could tell me if AMC ones are purchasable? Because I couldn't find AMC ones on Well, I could find them, but they weren't allowing me to purchase AMC ones. So, like, if anybody could go ahead and let me know, that would be awesome. Sorry about that, Alan. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. So they started um, messing with the MMTLP stuff. They turned off the U3 halt and then turned it back on.
Uh huh.
And we believe they are making sure the system's not going to error out.
Uh huh.
And we believe they may turn. There's a few of us that believe trading's coming back on. There's some that believe it's not.
Uh huh.
But I believe with the data and the things that were happening in our individual broker accounts and what was happening with FINRA yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
they are testing the system to make sure that things are functioning properly.
Mm-hmm.
So if they were going to turn it back on, they would be prepared.
I mean, that would make sense from a risk analysis point of view.
Yeah, because they don't want to say, hey, we're going to do this, and then all of a sudden it falls on its face.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I believe personally that it is probably going to come back on because the only way out of this mess is to make retail whole. Because you stop all the lawsuits and you allow the SEC to do their job behind closed doors.
I have mixed feelings.
I know. I know.
I was actually called a what's it called? I was actually called a shill yesterday. I don't know if you know that or not, but somebody called me an MMTLP shill, and
Well, and that's fine.
but
There's all kinds
no,
of
no, no.
haters.
I mean, I don't really care. Just obviously somebody like whoever said it wasn't paying attention to my channel ever. But
Right.
anyways,
So this morning I get a
okay.
phone call, and it's from this attorney firm. And I had been calling them and leaving them messages and just trying to get them to please respond to me.
Uh-huh.
And, they were like, we want to know more about your claim against your broker. Like, how do you intend on proving these things? Like, what's your actual proof? Like, kind of not really calling me out, but more or less saying, show us. Like, we're not saying that, we can't help you or that sort of thing because the other attorneys in Seattle,
Uh-huh. Won't touch you.
um, well, no, because they responded with so the language which the lawyer responded to me with
Uh-huh.
was very intentional, and it was very interesting what he said, because he told me that his firm not him personally,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't say not him personally, but I believe he chose the words very carefully, has said that his firm would not be in a position to take on my case at this time because they would not be able to represent me and their other clients with the duty that they would owe
Who's the lawyer?
both sets of clients.
Who's the
Well,
lawyer? Because then that means that there's a conflict of interest, and that it means that they're probably representing obviously the other side.
no, they're not representing the other side
Okay.
because I know people that know him personally.
Okay.
And basically, it was a way of them saying, we're not going to touch this. But
Okay.
they were saying that they couldn't give me the time and basically the effort that it's going to take and still take care of their other clients at the same time.
Okay, that's fair. So basically, what they said was that your case is going to be a very large one from the sound from what I got.
And so I talked to some attorneys from a website called brokerwatch.com.
Okay.
They are a very big and powerful law firm. And I mean, they're nationwide, and these guys are the real deal.
Good.
And they said, we want to know how you're going to prove this. So I did. And I explained it to the lady, and she was forwarding information to their attorney team because they have an entire team of people that are looking at this. And I said, okay. I said, do me a favor and go watch this video. And I had them pull up the video and send it to their team so that they could all go watch it. And that's what they're doing, I believe, right now.
And
so that's what they told me.
That's the Alex Damsker one?
Yeah.
Cool.
Because if they watch that, they're going to be able to see exactly what my abilities are as far as when I tell them this is the information I have and this is how I intend to prove it and this is the documentation that I've got.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of gives some context to, does he really have information that actually would prove what he's saying? And so I said, if you watch the video with Alex, you'll kind of be able to see what my abilities are.
Yeah. And
you're also going to be able to see some really important information about this case.
Yeah.
So they agreed. And I explained to them the letters and the recordings that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And they have decided that they are going to take a few days.
Mm-hmm.
And by the middle of next week sometime, they are going to get back to me.
Can I give you a piece of advice?
Well, hold on. Can I just finish?
Oh, of course you can. I'm sorry. I thought you were done with your thought. Go ahead.
No. You're all good. They were going to not take on MMTLP because of how complicated this is and how many different things are involved. And their attorneys were looking through this, just saying there's so much data and information to be able to go through all of this is going to be insane. And so when I showed them that I could give them access to certain people, if they're going to represent us as a whole, or if they're going to file lawsuits and help as well, that they could have direct access to certain people that absolutely have as much information as I do and as much documentation, so that it would make their case much simpler, and people that can walk them through what has happened and do it factually, not, well, my opinions are this.
And that was the whole purpose of that phone call. And
and I understand. And so, keep your fingers crossed for us. If these guys take this, man, I'm going to tell you, there are some people that are in trouble because these guys are no joke. And the people that they take on and who they've taken on in the past, this is literally us having the opportunity to walk in with like the Johnny Cochran Dream Team, and be an OJ saying, hey,
Alan, one second. Guys, watch Tide. Not financial advice, watch Tide. All right. And Swivel, or SWVL. Sorry. Go ahead, Alan.
No, you're fine. Not that we've done anything wrong, but just that we would be able to have that level of representation by an entire team of attorneys, not just one or two, but hey, we have 20 lawyers standing behind us with their offices and their people. And because I believe that if they look at the actual information, they're going to see that it's financially beneficial for them to help us. And I believe it's going to put their name out there massively.
Absolutely. I can't disagree with that at all. Can I make that one point that I thought
Go
okay.
for it.
So I thought that you were done with that thought. I do apologize. I got to work on cutting people off. It's just something I do, and it's terrible. It's a terrible habit. So my thought would be because you said that they're gonna let you know next week, right? I would still be reaching out to other law firms, right? While you wait. I mean, obviously credible, like big enough ones that could handle something like this, right? I would still reach out to other ones while you're waiting because, I mean, if like let's say that they say no for some odd reason, right? You want to have a backup theoretically, right?
Like the other 200 attorneys that I've called that have said no. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not going to do what you're saying, but I agree that I should, and this is why. I'm going to just tell you what I'm doing.
I love you, buddy. Go ahead.
I'm waiting on another attorney to get back to me as well.
Okay.
I don't hold much faith that these guys are, that any attorney is willing to take on something of this size. Because this is literally like David versus Goliath. This is no joke.
That's what Antics. That's what Antics just said in chat, bro.
This is the top money in the world, and the peasants going after them. So yeah. I mean, this is insanity at the slightest.
It's some Robin Hood. It's some Robin Hood stuff.
So I am working on a way to get my wife to approve me to spend quite a bit of money. I am going to go and file a complaint in federal court. I know that I don't have the ability to represent myself there, possibly to the level that I would have to if I had to go all the way through the whole case alone.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe that if a judge hears it and says, hey, you know what, I'm going to listen to this, I do believe at that point lawyers would jump in the fight, because now the work's done and they just have to argue their side.
Can I make a point real quick?
Yeah.
Guys, just for anybody watching, you can find it on my Twitter. My Twitter is @BuzzMarginCall. If you have not seen the long video explaining the situation, I recommend it. Also, I actually created a GoFundMe for Alan. I actually did it on Christmas morning because this guy gives more to the community than anyone else that I know. So just throw that out there. Even if you don't go ahead and you don't give, just please retweet it. Get the message out there. He's talking about spending a lot of his own personal money to bring it to federal court. I mean, if we're all in this together, you know what I mean? If you have a couple bucks laying around, it is what it is. If not, please at least retweet. But go ahead, Alan. I just wanted to,
I appreciate that, and I hate to say that I need help, but honestly, I'd be a fool if I didn't. And so here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take against my broker. I'm going to file a complaint and a temporary restraining order in federal court immediately. I'm going to work on it all weekend long. So Monday morning when the courthouse opens, I will be there with my bells on, ready to go. And I am going to attempt to stop them from destroying the evidence in my case.
Can I ask you one question about that? Because I personally, now, because what you just said kind of confuses me. Okay, so if you do file something against TD, right? What happens to the shares that you have with them?
Well, I don't know. Other than I know legally they can't touch them. So.
Okay.
Legally, I believe they're going to be forced to not do anything. And you said their name, not me, by the way.
You're right.
No, you're fine. I'm just saying that in my case, this is what I believe is absolutely vital. If they, and I could be wrong, Neil is probably the most qualified person to answer this. But I believe and this is my personal belief, like I said, I'm not an attorney. I'm not somebody that's owned a hedge fund, so I don't have that level of experience. I'm just somebody researching and trying to get this done.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that if I can take and go to this judge and say, hey, listen, these things are important because if they cancel my account, right, if they close my account like they're claiming they're going to,
Mm-hmm.
then they only have to keep like the accounting records and the trade transactions from my account.
Mm-hmm.
They do not have to keep the recordings or like the emails they have sent me that are just their standard form. You did this process, our system generates this email. Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense?
Yeah. So I mean,
And
all I
so,
all I would
and
say to
if they
that.
don't,
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say to document everything. You know what I mean on
right?
your
No, no.
record.
So I have the documentation, but
Of
what
course.
my fear is that if they close my account, they can destroy that evidence. And then when we go to court, they can say, Your Honor, we don't know that this is legitimate because unfortunately we stopped doing business with him and we've deleted our files on this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we want all of this stuff checked by an expert to prove that it hasn't been tampered with. As to where if a judge was to issue a restraining order right now,
Mm-hmm.
then what would happen is they would be forced to keep their copies. So we could say, well, no, let's just have these, like a stenographer transcribe these,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll just look. Are they any different?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll compare them. And then they can't argue that mine have been tampered with if it identically matches theirs. Because I haven't touched a single piece of this evidence other than just in the collection.
Unless they burn another warehouse down, says Sean.
Yeah, so I have not taken and done anything with it. I haven't removed the sections where the agents put me on pause. I have the actual full-length recordings with all the information there, and I'm not touching those originals. I would never do that because it only gives them proof that I could have deleted something or messed with something. But they could potentially drag it out for years saying, well, we don't know that expert's actually the expert. We want you to get a second opinion or a third or a fourth or a fifth opinion. And they could drag this out forever.
As an investigator, can I ask you a question though about? I think that this.
Yeah.
I actually believe that it's on the Bill of Rights, right? You have the right to a speedy trial, though, right? Or is that just criminal?
That's criminal cases.
But they would be doing something
talking
criminal
about
though.
No, this would be a civil litigation.
Oh, but even though they're committing financial, well, in my opinion,
I'm not going after them as a prosecutor. I'm going after them as a customer that has had things done to me that I believe violate my rights.
I agree.
And so, even if this was made whole and we started trading today, and I got paid out on all my shares, they still violated my rights, and I still have documentation of it.
I second that.
And so I believe that it's very, very costly to have 40 minutes of video at a time proving it was not doctored. I mean, you're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars and months of time for the folks to go through the original recording and prove that it was solid recording.
I have another point that I think is very valid, right? So if I'm not mistaken, as a financial institution, right, I believe that they are lawfully required in order to go ahead and save your phone calls for, I think it's a few years, but I don't know the exact.
As long as I'm an account holder, from what I understand.
Okay.
If I'm no longer an account holder, all they have to keep is the financial transaction records and the accounting. They don't have to keep their contact with me. That doesn't have to be saved because that's not like an accounting of my account or my trades that I committed.
That makes sense. Okay. All right. Sorry for interrupting.
And so that's why no, you're fine. But that would be the question for Neil. Neil would be the one to say, yes, you must, because he did this. He was a financial expert. He would be the one to say they must keep these documents for this time frame. And I believe that the recordings, because of the way that things are written, I believe that the recordings are not part of the documentation that is required for the actual accounting of the account.
Can you hold on 1 second? I might take a trade. Give me 1 second, and it's on my phone rather than my computer because how
Yeah.
I like to separate my stuff. Um, I'm gonna take my profits. I could, dude. That trade on Swivel was so disgusting earlier. I think I'm taking my profits there, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and dump it on Mullen, but I'm not sure. Um,
Not financial
no,
advice.
yeah, not financial
Do not
advice.
step outside of your plan.
Oh yeah, no, I
Built
know.
your plan
Yeah,
on
no,
purpose.
yeah, no,
Built
but
it with a level head. Follow it.
I mean, you know how I am about my trading plan. So it is
Oh,
what it
I
is.
know.
So all right,
Cold as ice, brother. No emotion. Emotions get us all screwed up.
statistics.
Follow the numbers. What do the
Stat-
numbers say? And what is good for you in your financial situation to do? And only you know that,
I,
and you should never share that with
I
anybody else.
I made
Other than
100.
you've done it.
I made 105%. I'm on public right now, so people could see my stuff. I made 105% on that trade.
Awesome.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what the margin mafia does, right?
That's right. We call out bangers and hit them.
That's right. Let me take this trade real quick, and then I'm Gucci. Um, all you, buddy. Sorry about that.
So I'm gonna let you go, but I'm just gonna put this out there. In the federal courts in the state of Washington, their filing fees are not the filing fees that I was having to deal with at the county. The county was $240.
Uh huh.
In the federal courts, they're $402 at the Tacoma, Washington federal courts for the state of Washington.
So I have your GoFundMe set to like I think it's like four, like I don't know, like it's like $4,000 or something like that.
Oh, that would be much help.
Yeah, I mean I'm sure it wouldn't even cover the entire cost, but it like.
I mean, if I can help get the filing fees covered,
Mm-hmm.
that would be amazing. And I'm not even asking to have them fully covered. If I could get, a quarter of it or half of it covered would be great, because it's not just one thing I have to file.
And then, gosh forbid, what's it called? Gosh forbid, like you get blessed with a bunch of, like holders supporting, right? I mean, then honestly, any extra cash you could just use for the book to prove exactly, the whole point. You know what I
No,
mean?
and I absolutely would. I would put whatever money. So I want to make this very clear. I am not doing the things that I'm doing to protect our community for my own financial gain. The things I am doing outside of the lawsuit against TD, which does help us as a whole, I intend to get paid for what they did to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because of what they did to me specifically. But I believe that I can prove they did it to everybody else too, so it helps everybody.
Yeah.
The money from the book is, I've already talked to Smokey and I've already talked to you.
Mm-hmm.
And John Berta also said he would personally help. He couldn't oversee the day-to-day of like managing the trust fund, but he would help you and Smokey and Sean be able to understand the legal aspects of the corporations and how it works, as far as you got to file these paperworks, these forms at these times.
Yeah, I have an accountant, but I would definitely love any extra help that I could get.
So we actually have people that we know will not waver and will put the money to help the people that are getting screwed, and that's what I wanted.
Uh-huh.
And so with what I'm doing with TD Ameritrade, if this gets heard, and yep, I just said it, but if this gets heard in court and another attorney says, you know what, I just watched what Mr. Hensley did, and he filed in federal court, within the state of Washington, and he filed this with this proof, I think he's a little crazy, because why would he think this only pertains to him? Why would he think that they intentionally just targeted him? I believe they did this to everybody.
Alan,
And I
Alan,
think that
Alan.
there's a very good case that somebody could make to say that I was not intentionally targeted. MMTLP holders were targeted.
As a whole, I absolutely. I just want to. I hate to. I hate to interrupt you again. And it's like my fatal flaw, and I get it. But Neil responded. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and obviously, I mean, I'm sure that you see that as important as I do. He said, Alan, be sure to rehearse your argument and present it to someone that doesn't know anything to ensure you are laying it out in an understandable manner.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neil.
Would you respond back to him and ask him?
He could hear you.
If recordings. Okay, so Neil, if you can hear me, I want to know if you know if once an account is closed with a brokerage, if the brokerage only has to keep the financial documents, or if they are also required to keep all of the phone calls between me and the broker or the brokerage and their client after the accounts are closed, or if it's just the financial statements and documents and copies of the trades.
Okay, we'll see if he responds or not.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a great resource to us. I mean,
the guy's
him and
amazing.
Alex,
He's brilliant.
Him and Alex literally just like, honestly,
you know how intimidating that was to be in a call with those two people? You put me in a phone call with two of the most brilliant people on the planet, and I'm a normal guy. I mean, good God, I was going to have a panic attack, I feel like.
Imagine how I felt. I mean, listen, you know more about the MMTLP situation than I do. I mean, I know like most of the bare bones stuff, right? But your experience far outweighs mine. And then I'm also in the conversation with, a former SEC attorney and a former hedge fund manager. So how do you think I felt?
I'm just talking about the level of intelligence of the people that were in the call.
And that
you took a normal person, and you put them in a phone call with two people that I believe are like on the 1 percentile of their functioning minds compared to everybody else. Like there are certain people that are rocket scientists for a reason. There are certain people that are hedge fund managers for a reason, and certain people that are SEC attorneys for a reason. Because there's others of us that don't have necessarily that ability. We have other abilities.
Yeah.
And so it just blew me away that I even had an opportunity to be there with those two people. I mean, they're absolutely phenomenal.
I agree. I took profit. I mean, I just took profit on 105. It was 105% profit gain, right? And now it's rocketing again, which I thought it was going to, but I hopped on that Mullen dip instead. So I mean, I just messed up a little bit, but still profitable. So I mean, it is what it is.
Hey, you know what? We wouldn't even be here with you if you had a crystal ball.
Hey, if we all had a crystal ball, we'd be, on a yacht somewhere.
I'm just saying, if you had a crystal ball, you'd be in Tahiti somewhere on a catamaran floating around with your girl, sipping Mai Tais in the sunshine.
Okay, so Alan, Neil responded. I keep cutting you off, and that's literally like.
Please do. No, it's okay.
Well, no. So the thing, I just want to address it because it's one of like the number one things that people always like, comment about me cutting you off. But like, I look at you as a really good friend of mine, and I have like different conversations and dialogues than I would with like somebody else. But Neil responded to what you said, right? And he said, just the hard copies for taxes and accounting.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And this is why it is absolutely imperative that I get a restraining order immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Because by them taking my account out, they can literally legally destroy the evidence and make this go from something that could be a very simple few hearings to now we have to have experts involved and taking years.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, I'm going to get back to work on this. I'm going to let you go and go back to listening. Mafia fam, I love you guys, and I will be in chat here and there. I just don't have time to just watch it constantly, but I'll be listening.
Hey, I appreciate you as always, brother. I will. We'll talk later, I bet.
All right.
All right, later, bud. And thank you again, Alan, as always.